Now that former Governor General David Johnston has stepped down as Justin Trudeau's special rapporteur on foreign interference in Canadian elections, there have been an awful lot of outlets that have said, well, clearly, Trudeau now can't avoid a full public inquiry. I beg to differ. I think he can. And I think that's exactly what he's likely to do. Take a look at it from the Liberal perspective. The Liberals' calculations are always, first and foremost, will this help or hurt our re-election chances? That's all they really care about. Will this policy help or hurt us? Will this action help or hurt us? Will this scandal help or hurt us? And I think a full public inquiry is more likely to hurt them with their own voters than it is to help them. They don't care what conservative voters think, whether conservative voters want a full public inquiry. They know they're not going to persuade the conservatives to like or dislike them based on what their actions are. So they're going to ignore them. All they care about are Liberal voters. And Liberal voters are slavishly loyal to Justin Trudeau. They look at their caucus. There's no caucus revolt. There's no push to get rid of Trudeau among Liberal MPs. So again, why hold a public inquiry? The NDP aren't going to abandon them. The NDP have held them in power for the last year and a half without any question at all. No matter what the Liberals do, no matter what crime they commit, no matter what sin they commit, the NDP have been there loyally, keeping them in power. And I think even if they don't hold a public inquiry, the NDP will continue to keep them in power. So where's the downside to the Liberals of refusing a public inquiry? It actually helps their chances because it keeps even more swing voters from finding out the gross details about the meddling scandal and abandoning the Liberals. So that leaves one other option. If you can't get away fully without holding a public inquiry, and maybe the Liberals say, look, okay, we don't want a full public inquiry. We don't want a commissioner who can actually ask real questions, who can subpoena witnesses, who can look at classified documents. We want somebody like David Johnston, who will give a few phone calls around and say, hey, people, stop worrying. It's okay. I've looked at it. It's great. That's maybe what they want. And they can have that. They can say they're going to set up a public inquiry, but they'll put so many limitations on it and find such a Liberal compliant judge to head it that it's a foregone conclusion. They'll hold a public inquiry that isn't really that public. It isn't that full. But they'll keep claiming all the way through, look, see, we gave you an inquiry. The way they did with the Freedom Convoy and the Rollo Commission. That gave them the answer they wanted at the end. Paul Rollo, the judge who was in charge of the Freedom Convoy Commission, said, yes, they probably broke the law, but, under the circumstances, it was fully excusable. They'll find somebody to do that with the Chinese meddling, do it more skillfully, more adeptly than David Johnston did. David Johnston has hurt them. That's why he resigned, I'm sure. There was a quick phone call from some Liberal higher up saying, David, you're causing the party some problems. You need to move on. And they'll find somebody to do the same thing on the Chinese meddling scandal, provided they feel in the end they have to have some kind of inquiry. We are not going to get a full public inquiry so long as the Liberals are in power. For Postmedia, I'm Lorne Gunter.